Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Vishan Borich from Team Tough. And if you're on here today, this is the Down and Dirty at 1:30, and it is Monday, April the 6th. And we do these calls every Monday at 1:30 Central Time. And my purpose, my vision for this call is to give you the down dirty. In other words, the basic information to help you be more successful in your life and in your business. So today we're going to be talking about how to share your business with others and how to coach. These are two things that I think oftentimes end up causing less sales to happen in your business if you don't know how to share it. Oftentimes people go out there and they tell people about their business instead of sharing. And there's a big difference. And we're going to talk about that today. All right, so let me just pause for just a minute. I want to make sure that we are working, everything technical is working. Give me just a moment here. All right, looks like we're doing well. If you're having any trouble, I want to remind you below this video, you'll see there's a chat box. Go ahead and log in, and then you can ask questions, post comments, and things like that, and I'll be happy to answer those for you. So I want to share this in a story format because I really think that this is so valuable in order to know how to talk about your business to others and especially how to coach others. And we'll do that more towards the end of the call. So let me tell you a little story. I had somebody that was interested in my business, and this was right when I got started. And I was super excited. They had called me. They wanted to know more about my business and what I did. And they started asking questions, and I was just, answering them and giving them all the details that I possibly could. And it ended up being like an hour-long call. And we ended up talking about all kinds of things specific, and I call it getting down into the weeds of your business, where I got really detailed as to how to make things work and what is possible in the business, and how much the different products cost, and this, that, and the other. And I thought I was doing them a good service by giving them that information. Well, it was because I was new. You don't know what you don't know. And it ended up, I did not make the sale. They didn't join my business at all. In fact, I never heard from them again, and they even dropped off of my mailing list. So basically, I scared them off. And I think what happened, actually I know what happened, is that I just kind of let all of my business out there to them on the phone, and it was overwhelming. Because here's the thing, if you're in a type of business where you're trying to attract people to you who are going to do the same thing, they're going to sell the same products and services, and basically, have the same business that I'm doing as your business, you have to be able to answer two questions, just two questions. Number one is, can I do this? And that's the question is, can they do it? If they can do it, the second question is, do I want to do this? And if they can answer yes to both of those questions, then you've got them. You've got somebody that's interested, and they're potentially going to be, a really good customer and a good business partner. However, where we get stuck, for those of us that have been doing it a while, or if you have some technical experience like myself, is we start sharing with them how it works, how the business works. And we get so detailed with all of the ins and outs on how to do the business that the very first question of how can I do this is completely lost, because that person on the other end, on the receiving end, they're hearing you speak and they're thinking, oh my goodness, look at all the things I'm going to have to learn to even be able to do this business. And they may not be as technical as you are. They definitely aren't as experienced if they haven't been in the business that you're in. And so in speaking to them, now all of a sudden they feel like they can't do the business. It's just too much. It's overwhelming. And that's what I believe happened to the person that I was speaking to on the phone. And then the last part is, do they want to do this? The only way that they're going to want to do it is if they feel that it's accomplishing a need that they have. So if you're talking about yourself and how well you're doing and how much you love it and this, that, and the other, that's great. And your reasons for being in the business are unique to you, but they may not be the same for the person you're speaking with. In fact, I can almost guarantee they aren't the exact same reasons as the person you're speaking to. So you really need to let them do most of the talking when you're sharing your business. Sure, you can open up and give them a good intro to ask questions about your business, but you want to get to know them, get to know what it is that they want, what are they looking for, what are their greatest needs. So how do you do that? Well, here are a couple questions, and I wrote them down, so I'm going to get my little notebook handy here. Here are a few questions that you can ask the person that you're speaking with to see if, number one, they're even qualified to be somebody that's in your company or a customer for your business. So the first thing is what are they hoping for? What are they hoping for? So you might ask them, what are you hoping for? What problem are you hoping to solve right now in your life? What is it about you and your life that you would like to see improved in some way? And you may know, maybe you know them personally and you know a problem that they have, but you really need to find out what it is that they're hoping for in their life or their business. Because if it doesn't align with what you do, then you don't need to go any further. Press on, sort them out, and stay in contact with them. There may be another time in which you can utilize each other. But right now, don't try to sell somebody or even continue down the path if what they're hoping for isn't something that you can provide or are willing to provide. Okay? And you might ask them as well, what is it that they want out of their own life? Because a lot of people who do the business that I'm in, which is a work-at-home business, working from my home office or any place I have an internet access, we have a certain quality of life that we desire. And typically, at least for me, that quality of life is to have the freedom, to have both time freedom, which is for me more important than anything, to be able to go where I want to go, do the things I want to do, spend time with the children that I have. So that, to me, time freedom is number one. But secondly is to have the ability to call my own shots with my business, to not be stuck doing something I don't enjoy. And then thirdly is obviously financial, to be able to provide for those that I love. Give me just a second. I'm losing internet, so give me a second. I'm going to change my internet service here real quick. All right, hopefully you guys are still there. It's been kind of one of those days. I have a new internet provider that I'm using, and so I'm kind of flipping back and forth with my old internet to my new internet to make sure it works properly. But I do want to say to this, that if you're talking to somebody and they have a goal, a life goal or a life dream, in order to have more time freedom or to be able to work from their home or to be able to travel more, then this business is a really good fit, because it gives you those. Those are some of the biggest perks that I can say that I enjoy with this business. And secondly, they have to really enjoy working online. They have to enjoy putting themselves out there and being in the public eye, at least with the written word, not necessarily visual. But if they're good with that, then this is a great business, because it gives you an opportunity to express yourself, and not just to an immediate circle, but literally to the world. And to me, that's powerful. And so if that's something that you've been thinking about, and you're on this hangout right now and you're wondering if there's a business out there for you that allows you the time freedom and the ability to work on a laptop computer from anywhere, then I can say that this has really been a great opportunity for me. So let me talk about how I share my business. What I do is I share my reason why. I want people to know why I do this business, not what I do, because it really doesn't matter what I do. What matters is why I do it. And the reason why I do it is, like I mentioned earlier, is I want to be able to spend more time with my family, with my sons, and to not have somebody else control where I go, what I do, what time I'm there, when I work, things like that. To me, that's not living. That's just, it's prison with a little bit of a paycheck behind it. But even that can be snatched away, or your time can be monopolized in such a way that you still get the same pay, but you're working twice as hard. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Well, it did with my old job, my old job, just over broke. I was working so hard, but oftentimes I was working way into the night and cutting into family time. And to me, I don't know when it became okay to actually cut into your family time, because to me that's the most valuable time in your life. The time that you spend with your friends and your family and those that you love. Because when is it that you feel the happiest? Usually it's when you're spending it with those that you love the most. And being happy is something that is good for the soul. And I am one of those people. I really enjoy speaking to older people. By older, I mean those that are retired or have been around a while. And often the ones that seem to be the happiest are those that realize the priorities in life aren't about a work schedule. The priorities are about spending time with those you love. And so the purpose of this call today is to really show you that when you're sharing your business and your life and what you do, don't tell them what you do, tell them why you do it. And what is it about what you do that makes you so happy? Like, here's how I would share my own business. I would say, I have the greatest life ever. I feel so blessed and so full of gratitude because I get up and make breakfast for my sons and take them to school. And then I can come home and relax in front of my computer for a little while, a few hours, and do a work, something that's meaningful. And it helps to benefit the world in some small way. And how lucky am I to be able to do that and to be able to share that with others, and so that they too might be able to live a life of freedom and to spend time with those that they love. So I feel so blessed, and I appreciate you asking me what I do. And they may think for a minute and say, well, you never really said what you do. No, but I said why. And why is so important. And so then the next part of it is, okay, well, what do you do? Well, it just so happens the vehicle I use in order to achieve the life that I just talked about is I have an internet business, and it's portable, and it allows me to work from anywhere as long as I have a laptop with internet access. So now they're getting curious, because now they're curious as to what it is that you do on the internet. And then you can share, the next part of this is you can share with them, how you do it. Because we already talked about why you do it, what you do, the vehicle that you use, and then how are you doing it? Well, I'm doing it because I found a mentor that walked me through step by step how I could make a living online. And isn't it funny? Now I am in the same shoes as my mentor, and I'm helping others just like you to be able to build a business online. And if you're interested in what I'm doing, then let's talk some more privately, and we can talk about how we can help you live out your best life. Doesn't that sound so much more interesting than just, here's what I have, here's how much it costs, here's what, here's where you can find it, click on this link. I hope that you said that the other version was much more interesting, because it definitely would be for me if I was somebody new coming in. So I want you to start reframing how you speak about yourself and sharing your business with others. And that's not only verbally should you do it in that way, but you also should do it in the written word. And if you do videos on your website or you take photos, always share why you do it. And by doing that, it's going to attract more people to you. And it's also going to make people wonder what it is that you're doing and what makes your life so great. And that can build friendships, and friendships build relationships, and relationships build businesses. So I want you to consider all of that as you're sharing your business. All right, so now we go into the next phase. The next phase of talking about business is actually coaching others. How do you coach somebody? Let's say that you have somebody new, a new customer, or a new team member who's joined your team for your business. How do you coach them to success? How do you coach them so that they can turn around and become successful in this themselves and coach others? It's called training the trainer. And to train a trainer, you really need to, again, start with that why. Like today, I had a coaching call with a young woman who is interested in getting started. And she has already walked through some of our training videos into our trial platform. And she and I had this nice call. Well, one of the very first things that I asked her was the first thing that I just mentioned to you guys, and that is, what is she hoping for? What is she hoping that this business can bring for her and her family? And then just listen to what they have to say. And steer the conversation there. You're having the coaching call with them. Don't let them monopolize the call by just having them fire off technical questions and getting down in the weeds, because that's not what it's all about. It's about the big picture. It's about what they're hoping for. What are their dreams and aspirations and desires? And have them write those down. And their very first goal should be to have their basic needs met. Whatever that cost might be. Maybe it's a couple thousand, maybe it's 5,000, maybe it's 10,000. Whatever it is, have them figure out what their basic needs are, their basic expenses, such as their home, their car, their food, obviously, any insurance, coverage type things that they need, utilities. Add those all up. Have them do that, and then write down that figure, because that's their first goal. And then work out a plan with them on how to achieve it. And the truth is that if they're looking to make anything over $3,000 a month, they really need to be in at least minimum the bronze package. Okay, if they're looking to make $5,000 or more a month, they need to be at least in the silver or gold package. I would probably go gold just so they can get there quicker. And if they're looking to make upwards of $5,000 a month, then they absolutely need to be black. And for those, and by black, I mean black card members. So those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, we have a black card, which means that you actually own all of the products. So you have a complete business, a complete online franchise that allows you to build and create the lifestyle of your dreams. So for me, I walk them through that, and I help explain to them that if they want to reach those goals that they spoke to me about at the beginning of the call, this is where they need to be. And then, oftentimes they'll come back to me and they'll say, well, I don't have the money, which is the most common, right? A lot of people, they think they don't have the money. Maybe they don't really have it on hand right now. But the truth of the matter is, if you really, really want something, and it's not completely something that's outrageously, if it's something that you set your own limitations, let's put it that way. But if you really, really want something, you can make it happen. Now, I can't guarantee you how long it's going to take, but if you want something, you can make it happen. So what I teach people when I'm coaching them is to start asking a question instead of saying I don't, or but, or any excuse that you make. Ask this question. And the question is, how can I? Okay, so how can I make this happen? And I did that today with this young lady that I spoke to on the phone. She was wondering, how she was going to be able to afford it, and she didn't think she had the money. And I said, I want you to change how you are asking this. I want you to say, how can I? And then she started thinking, because now she's getting creative on how she can actually achieve the goal of getting in at least at the bronze level. And suddenly, by the time we got to the end of the call, she had developed several ways in which she could get in at the bronze level. And she also discussed getting in at the silver level, and she thinks she could do that too. So we went from somebody who said they had absolutely no money to somebody who now had a way or a system in which she felt she could get in at the silver level. So to me, that's the power of coaching, at least on the initial side, is getting them in. Once they're in the program, the next phase of coaching is to get them integrated into the communication group. And by integrated, I mean we have a Facebook group. Some of you who are out there, you may have your own Facebook groups that are private for your members. Get them integrated into that, or however you communicate. If you're watching this today and you're not part of our system, that's fine. What I recommend that you think about is, if you have your own business, how do you teach new people or coach new people to get up to speed on your business? Well, you should have a main method or resource for them to communicate with each other, because the quickest way for people to learn is not always going to you. If they're always going to you again and again and again to get information and get answers, it's going to bottleneck really fast. And you're going to get burnt out as a coach, because you can't handle that many people coming to you all the time, asking questions and expecting you to provide technical support. And neither would you want to do that to them. Because think about it, whatever I do, I'm influencing you. And now you're going to be teaching this to the next generation down. So it ends up causing a massive bottleneck when everybody starts doing that. So rather than being a closed communication source, open up your communication. Have a way or a method for people to communicate loosely with each other and to help each other. And now you have the benefit of a community instead of just one person. So what I do is I get them integrated into the Facebook group, and I'd give them a warm welcome, and I encourage them to introduce themselves either with a video or to go out there and start commenting on other people's posts so that they become a part of that community. And by becoming a part of the community, now it's not just me supplying answers to them when they're stuck. Now they have a whole community that they could ask. Now, I want to say too, if you're one of those people who feels like you always need to go to your coach or your business owner, like if you're in another business or your sponsor, if you always feel like you need to go to them, you are causing the bottleneck. It's not your sponsor. Now, it might be if your sponsor is agreeing to this, then shame on them. But for you, you need to be more proactive. Instead of going right to your sponsor every time some little thing isn't working for you or you can't figure something out, you need to take time to go figure it out on your own. So exhaust every resource before you bottleneck at your sponsor. So the way that you do that, if you're not sure, you're not a troubleshooter, is number one, look online and see if you can find an answer there. There may already be an answer. You may already have a training video or training information out there. Try to find it on your own. If you can't find it, then that's where that community comes in. Reach out to your community. Talk to people who are knowledgeable in the groups. Ask them if they know how to solve this issue that you're having. And most of the time, you can get the answer there. If you still can't get the answer, if it's something really technical, then reach out to the support team that we have within our amazing tribe. And you can reach out to that. You'll see in your software itself, there's an area for support. There's a phone number as well as a way you can submit a ticket. So do that. And last case scenario, if support is not getting back to you, then would you go to your sponsor or whoever it is that brought you into your company? And by doing that, you have now been proactive in solving your problems, and you're becoming a better leader because of it. Because as you bring a person in to you, you are going to teach them these same steps. And this is what we call duplication. It's the capability of you to teach somebody how to be a leader themselves, so that they can teach somebody how to be a leader, so that they can teach somebody how to be a leader. And the better you get at that, the better and bigger that your company can grow without you. And to me, the ultimate goal of having an incredible team is to be able to step away and know that your business can continue working just as if you were there by you not being there and being on vacation. Now, if you can't do that today, then you definitely need to keep focusing, keep working on your business, keep helping others so that they become leaders. So point them, be a tour guide, not, be a map, not a tour guide, is what I was told. So in other words, point to where they need to go, or point to the map and say, look at the map, and you'll see the solution to your problem there, rather than taking them by the hand like a tour guide and showing them every little aspect, because you just can't handle that. Over time, you're going to have way too many people. At least that's the goal, right? You're going to have way too many people then to be able to carry them one by one down the path. So be a map, not a tour guide. All right, so I hope that helps you a little bit. I want to share a few other questions that can really help you when you're trying to figure things out. And the first thing is let's say that there's a problem. There's a problem, either a technical problem, or maybe there's just a communication problem in your group. What you need to find as a leader is, what is the root cause of the breakdown? Okay, what is it that has caused this to break down? Is it communication? Is it a certain person? Is there something that needs to be fixed? Pinpoint exactly what the root cause is, and then turn that around into a breakthrough. So in other words, you're going to take the root problem and figure out, as a collective, as a group, how you can solve the root. Because when you solve the root, everything else from the roots up grows, and it gets better. It gets better and bigger and stronger. So anytime there's a problem or breakdown, find the root problem. It's often not what people are upset about. It's often something much deeper, and that's where you need to ask questions. So ask them, other than what they're hoping for, how would they describe the perfect day for them? How would they describe that? And have them walk you through it. And then, especially if somebody's abusing your time, this is a really good one, is, how would you like to describe your quality of life? And often they say, well, I want to be able to go to the beach, stick my feet in the sand, spend time with my kids. Well, it doesn't involve being on the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or texting people on the phone at all hours of the night because they need help. If they want the same quality of life as you're hoping for, then they will not monopolize somebody else's time. Does that make sense? So you're teaching them to be a better leader by pointing out that you don't want to be in this position. Why would you put me in that position? Okay, so I hope that helps you a lot. I'm just looking through my notes to see if there's anything else that I missed. As always, if you have a specific question, feel free to write that down below. All right. And here's the other thing. If you're having a problem with somebody, or a group of people is having trouble, what are the real issues and what are the real needs of the situation? So if you can pinpoint what the real needs are, not wants, what are the needs, then oftentimes you can find a solution much more quickly. And as a coach, you need to ask them, how can I help you succeed better? Where would you like me to be in your success? And you might be surprised at some of the answers that you get. And remember too, oftentimes when people are getting into a negative attitude, if they start to show anger, for example, or frustration, or even tearfulness. I think as women, a lot of times when we get frustrated, we show our emotional side of tearfulness and just being sad and frustrated. Whereas men in general, not all, but men in general, when they're afraid, they get angry. And so they show an anger to them. So the big thing is that when those type of frustrations happen, you need to ask them, what are you afraid of? What is it that you're most afraid of right now? Because obviously it's affecting, the way you feel. And I'm here to help you break through that fear. And so if you can help them to pinpoint what it is that they're afraid of, then you can pinpoint what the real root of the issue is. So these are just some real big coaching tips that have helped me, and my own mentors have shown me these, and that's why I wanted to really share that with you today. So here's the next thing, and this has to do with goal planning. And if you're planning, some of you who are on this call, you have a goal of becoming a millionaire one day. And if that's you, if you want to be a millionaire one day, then you need to start planning out, the steps in order to get there. And you need to really plan it out numerically. And what I mean by that is you need to sit down and think, okay, how many leads, how many potential customers do I need to get per day to get a sale? And you should, if you haven't gotten a sale yet, then you're not getting enough leads. Okay, on average, it takes about 30 leads or 30 emails in order to get a sale. So you need to write that down, how many leads you need. And then you also need to figure out how many of those sales actually end up going to the black card level or whatever level, and figure out what your average total sale price is. So this would be your lifetime customer value for every person that comes in. How much are they usually spending? What's the average that they're spending? Once you know that, now you have a hard number, a hard figure where you can actually map out what you need to do in order to be successful. If you know that you've got to have a minimum of 30 leads per sale, and you know that you need to have 2 sales per day, that should tell you something right there. Because 2 sales per day will equate, or should equate over the long haul, to $1 million a year. Now that's assuming they go black, right? So what you want to do is you need to document this, make a spreadsheet, figure it out, and now you have a real plan that you can follow. So now the key is finding what are the tools in order to get you there. And I think part of the challenge that we have is that we get so caught up in the weeds that we actually are trying too many things at once. We aren't focusing on one thing. And because of that, we're not having success. We're too scattered. So once you know your numbers, the next part of it is to actually pick a strategy, stick with it, and move forward. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the money question, because I think a lot of people get asked, how much does this cost? How much does that cost? So what I would do is I would point them to the iPass system, which is the system we use, and it lists all the prices in there. I mean, you can go through and you can see what the costs are. If they have very specific questions, then what you can do is, and this is what I have on my desk, I have a little document that lists, the cost of each of the product. And I'm very hesitant to share that, because once we start talking about numbers, it can get a little messy, and people aren't really interested in, the numbers. They're more interested in why anyway. But if you absolutely must talk about the numbers, do it in this way. Figure out what it is, how much they want to make per month. Ask them that first. Before you give them any numeric value, say, okay, if we're going to talk about numbers, I need to know how much you want to make per month, or you need to make. That should be their first goal, not want, but what do they need to make right now with their basic bills that they have? What is the basis that they need? So let's say, just for a round number, let's say it's $5,000. Well, if it's $5,000, now you've got some place to start. So now you can show them through the math how much it's going to take in order to reach $5,000. So let's look at the first product. The very first product in iPass, and I've got them all here, is that basic level. And that basic, or I guess it's the pro level, that one is going to be, let's see, it's $47 a month. Okay, so if it's $47 a month, from that, if they have a black card, they make you'll make $25 on it. If they don't have a black card, then they make $20 for every time somebody buys that. So what you need to think about there is, if they have a goal to make $47 a month, so let's say it's, let's round it up, let's say it's $50, and they need to make $5,000 a month, how many of those they need to sell? Okay, so they need to sell, 5 goes in there, they need to sell 1,000 of them. Okay, that's a lot of sales in order for them to hit their goal. And how many of you have sold 1,000 of our products in 1 month? Not too many. I'm sure there's some that are out there, but how many people in our group are actually making more than 5 digits a month? There's a lot of people in our group that are doing that right now, and our leadership team. So if you're looking to make big money, you really need some high ticket items. And so I kind of point that to them. I say, okay, well, you can just go in at the pro level at 47, but you're gonna have to sell 1,000 of them in order to make a go of it. And then I say, okay, so then you go in at the bronze level. Now you're at $97, and so with that one, you're gonna make $40 off of it if you don't have a black card. And so now you think about that, you got 40 plus the basic level, so that's $60. Now you're making $60 a person. So it really gets, it kind of helps to sink in with them the importance of going up. Because if you don't want to work so hard, it's much easier to sell 2 or 3 black card memberships than it is to try to sell 1,000 of the lowest end level. And this is really the truth in any business. If you don't have a high ticket item or several high ticket items, then you're working just as hard, if not harder, than somebody who has a high ticket item. Believe it or not, it takes just as much effort to sell something that's a high ticket item than it does to do something that's a low ticket, $20, $10 product. Okay, so if you know that, and hopefully you do now, then you really need to focus on how you can get them in at the black card level, because now it's going to help them. It's not self-serving. I want to be clear here. If you get somebody in at the black card level, you're not serving yourself, you're serving them, because now they're going to see the value, number one. Number two, when they start making sales, they're going to hit their dream goal much quicker, because when people go in the black card level with them, now they're hitting those goals. So you're trying to help them. That's your goal. Your goal always should be to provide value and to help others succeed. If that's your goal and your purpose every day, you're going to start having success and hitting your goals just because of it. It's just kind of a byproduct of you providing value and helping others succeed. So set that as your mantra every day and think about how you can provide value and help others succeed. And slowly you're going to start to see success. It may even go more fast than slowly, because you're focusing on helping others. And when they have success, it creates that success for you. So I hope that this helps. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else. If you have any questions, I'm looking to see right now if any questions have come through. So bear with me as I check it out here. All right. So I do hope that you are finding value and that I'm helping you to be a success in whatever business it is that you're in. And as always, if there's a topic that you would like to see me cover that could help you in your business, feel free to reach out to me. You can either drop it in the chat, or you can shoot me an email or Facebook message, and I'll be happy to reach out to you and even perhaps do a down and dirty so that we can get some of that information out to you. So I'm going to go ahead and end early today, but I do appreciate you sticking around. And once again, this is Vishan Borich from Team Tough. We'll see you next week at 1:30 Central Time for the Down and Dirty. Take care.